Good evening, guys. So today we'll take up problem on gravitation. It is a problem based on Newton's law of gravitation with a slight twist. So let's have a look at the problem and let's see a way of solving this. Right. So this is the question over here. You have a spherical cavity inside a lead sphere, and the surface of this cavity passes through the center of the sphere and touches the right side of the sphere as shown, and it also passes through the center of the sphere over here. The mass of the sphere before the cavity was created was capital M. So we need to find out what is the force exerted by this hollowed out lead sphere on a particle of mass small m, which is lying at a distance of small d from the center of the lead sphere on the straight line connecting the centers of the sphere and the center of the cavity. Right? Right. So here we need to find out what's the force exerted by the remaining lead sphere in this question. Right? And we'll look at a way of solving this question as such. Anyway, so we had a lead sphere whose mass was capital M. And from this lead sphere, we are removing a portion of this lead sphere. We're removing a portion of this lead sphere over here. Right? Removing a portion of this lead sphere over here, right? And the radius of this lead sphere is given as R. And now, according to the diagram which was given over there, this lead sphere is passing through the center of this, this portion which you're removing over here is passing through the center of the sphere as well as passing through touching the right side of the sphere as well. So that the radius of the cavity then would be equal to R by 2, right? And now we are supposed to find out what force would this hollowed out lead sphere exert on a particle of mass small m, which is lying at a distance of small d from the center of this sphere along this direction, right? Fine. We need to find out what's the force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere. So here, like one single step will help us solve the question, and it is basically all about substituting all the values in that single logic over there, right? So we want to find out what is the force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere over here. We'll first find out what's the force exerted by the entire sphere on that particle of mass small m. We'll first assume that the entire sphere is there, and then we'll find out what's the force exerted by this entire sphere on this mass small m. And what we'll do right now is we'll remove the contribution which this portion had. We'll remove the contribution which this portion had in exerting a force on this mass, right? Or in other words, if I want to express the statement mathematically, I'll say that the force exerted by this hollowed out lead sphere over here is nothing but the force exerted by the entire sphere minus the force exerted by the sphere which was a part of this cavity, the sphere which is occupying the cavity, So in effect, I'm basically removing the contribution this had in the entire force exerted by the sphere on this particle of mass small m over here, right? And this is a very simple logic for this question, and all we need to do right now is substitute all the values related to these terms over here, right? So first, let's calculate what will be the force exerted by the entire sphere on this particle of mass small m. What will be the force exerted by the entire sphere on this particle of mass small m? So as we know, if we have a particle lying outside the sphere, we can treat this sphere as a point particle. And then basically we can use a Newton's law of gravitation directly. So this diagram can effectively be converted to this diagram. I can say that the entire mass of the sphere is located at its center. And now we can just find out what's the force exerted by this point mass effectively on this mass small m. And that is nothing but a Newton's law of gravitation. So the force exerted by the entire sphere on mass small m will convert to this case. So we get that value to be equal to G capital M small m divided by d square, right? And to write this in a vector form, we know that this force will be an attractive force. This entire sphere would be attracting this mass of small m. So I'll write that force to be acting along the negative x direction. We're taking this as the x direction over here, right? So the force exerted by the entire sphere on the mass small m will be equal to G capital M small m divided by d square over here, right? And now we need to find out what force would be exerted by the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity. Like if the portion of the lead sphere was there inside that cavity, what force would that sphere exert on small m? What force would that sphere exert on small m? First, let's find out what will be the mass of that sphere which we have over there. So now, since your mass is uniformly distributed over this, and because it's a lead sphere altogether, your mass is uniformly distributed. So for a volume of 4 by 3 pi r cube, we had a mass m. That was the mass of the entire sphere, right? So what was the density of the sphere? Your density of the sphere is nothing but m by 4 by 3 pi r cube, m by 4 by 3 pi r cube. And now we want to find out what was the mass of the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity. So in short, I'll write that as the mass of the cavity, or basically that's the mass of the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity. And that will now be equal to density into volume. And now your density of the material, that is lead, is m by 4 by 3 pi r cube. And we need to find out what mass will it have when it's occupying a volume of 4 by 3 pi of r by 2 whole cube. 4 by 3 pi of r by 2 whole cube. So 4 by 3 pi, 4 by 3 pi gets cancelled. So you get the mass of the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity to be equal to m by 8. We get the mass of the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity to be equal to m by 8 in this case, right? And now we know what's the mass of the cavity. So now we'll find out what force is that sphere occupying the volume of the cavity exerting on this particle. So this particle was located at a distance of d from the center of the bigger sphere. So what force would this exert on this? So what distance will this particle be located from the center of this cavity? So this distance, as we know, is r by 2. And this entire distance is given as d. So this distance will be equal to d minus r by 2. This distance will be equal to d minus r by 2. And once again, we are finding out what's the force exerted by a sphere on a particle, right? And since the particle is once again outside the sphere, we can treat the sphere as a point particle right now. And we found out what was the mass of the sphere, basically that was equal to m by 8. So to find out what is the force exerted by this sphere on this particle, we can essentially say that the entire mass of the sphere is located at its center. So then we can convert this problem as a point particle of mass m by 8, that is the entire mass lying at its center, another mass small m, and the distance between these two will be equal to d minus r by 2. D minus r by 2. So what will be the force exerted by, I'm using the word cavity over here. So what is the force exerted by the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity? So that will be equal to, you see that will be equal to capital G into m by 8 into m divided by d minus r by 2 whole square. And once again, this will be an attractive force. This will be an attractive force. So this force is once again acting along the minus I cap direction. This force is once again acting along the minus I cap direction, right? And finally, now we found out both the terms required for us to get the answer. So what is the force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere? Force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere, as we'll see, will be, as we had written earlier, was the force exerted by the entire sphere minus the force exerted by the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity. Occupying the volume of the cavity. And now this expression was G capital M small m divided by d square of minus I cap. And this was minus G m by 8 into m. So let me, this term basically, so let me simplify. So it will be m into m divided by 8 into d minus r by 2 whole square of minus I cap, right? And taking minus I cap common, taking gmm by d square common, I'll get this expression to be called gmm by d square of 1 minus 1 by 8 of 1 minus r by 2d whole square. 1 minus r by 2d whole square. And again, this force is acting along the minus I cap direction. The hollowed out lead sphere is also attracting it. The hollowed out lead sphere is also attracting that particle of mass m. So this will be your expression. This will be your final answer in this case, which can be further simplified, but we'll just leave it at this point, right? So anyways, I hope the logic for this question was clear. So once again, we had to find out what was the force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere on this particle. And the logic for this, again, once the logic is clear, all we had to do was just substitute all the values in this logic. And the logic for this was nothing but, we'll first find out what's the force exerted by the entire sphere, and then remove the contribution which this portion had, which this sphere occupying the volume of the cavity had in the contribution of the entire force. So our expression over here mathematically was, the force exerted by the hollowed out lead sphere is nothing but the force exerted by the entire sphere minus force exerted by the sphere occupying the volume of cavity. And what was the force exerted by the entire sphere? That was nothing but, I can assume that the mass of the sphere is located at its center. So using your Newton's law of gravitation, that was G capital M small m divided by d square. Then we found out what was the mass of the cavity, for which we had to make use of the density expression. So we found out what was the density of the sphere, and we found out that the mass of the cavity will be equal to m by 8. Then we found out what force would the sphere occupying the volume of the cavity exert on this particle. So once again, using your Newton's law of gravitation, we got that expression to be this. And then finally, we had substituted that in our initial equation. We have substituted that in our initial equation, right? So any question where you have some portion being removed from an entire mass, we can always solve it by using this logic. We can always solve it by using this logic, right? So I hope this question is clear, guys.